Welcome to our Mental Health Matters special. I'm Dr. Audrey Tang, the host of your double dose of Mental Health Matters. At 8 a.m. PT, we have office hours where we focus on workplace well-being with the thought leaders in the industry. Then at 8 p.m. PT, we have after hours. And this is where we focus on all things mental health and well-being on the broader spectrum. Our shows are all expert-led and we bring you the best of the best in the field. They are experienced practitioners and we offer you practical tools and interventions that easily fit into your day. That's no substitute for professional intervention, as in your therapist or your counsellor, but these are things that can work in tandem with all the work that you're doing yourselves. My co-host is Judith Crozier, and as a local studio, we are often invited to try out lots of different well-being organisations and the things that they offer. And that is what today's special is all about. We are going to reflect on all of the places we've been to recently and think about those well-being techniques and what might work for us. First up is CryoTherapy.
Hi, I'm Kaylan, your cryo practitioner, and I'll be taking you through your treatments today.
Wow.
This is our cryo chamber. So this is the chamber that you'll be in. You'll be stepping into this changing room, into the chamber. For 3 minutes, your treatment will be with what to expect in a sense of what to wear. So when you're going into the cryo chamber for me, you're going to get down to where it will be underwear, socks, keep your socks on. You wear a pair of our lovely Crocs. Got the Crocs before your session. We always have Crocs and gloves. The reason being to help protect the vital parts of where the cold goes to. Our hands and our toe tips as where the cold goes a lot quicker. So by having the Crocs, having a pair of gloves, we keep them hands and feet warm. With it, we have our changing room here for you. So we have a changing room for you to get changed. Privacy has always remained throughout all of our sessions. You'll wear into one of our gowns as well. Once you get down to underwear for us, you'll be stepping in with your gown. So once you are changed, you'll come through. You'll enter our chamber, into the chamber here for me. You'll step up onto the steps. So you'll be up on the steps here for me. Your arms will either be placed on your shoulders or under the armpits. Anyone that's more comfortable. It's all for protecting the organs around the area around there where the cold travels a lot faster to around our area of the torso, a lot more than any other body part. Within that 3 minutes of you being here within your session, I'm going to ask you to turn every 30 seconds, giving me a quarterly turn. So you'll be doing this for me in the whole 3 minutes you're in the chamber for me. Every 30 seconds, right until we bring you right back round to the front for you. So cryotherapy is a cold therapy. It's a cold therapy that is where it's made to send your body into the thermal shock. It's where basically it's chaos happening for 3 minutes. Your body goes into this invigoration of where it's having to work hard, regenerating new blood cells, improving the circulation, giving you that all-round wellness to your body. If that means from down to your aches and pains, down to your day-to-day wellness, down to people that just want to feel good. We release something where when you go into the cold chamber, it releases your endorphins. It stimulates your dopamines by the millions. Your adrenaline is rushing around your body. It's almost sending your body into this trick switch of where, hang on a minute, I'm having to fight for these 3 minutes to make sure I come out. And I don't mean physically where you're going to fall. I mean to a point of where your body is regenerating these new blood cells by the mass, by the millions. And when you're stepping out, you've got this euphoria feel, this rush of tingling sensation of where your body's been regenerated, reinvigorated. It's almost like having a reboot to the system. And then you're left with all these endorphins, these endopamines, all the great feel to why cold therapy is great. Everybody's different. So we say to people, if you're coming here with a certain goal, whether that be an injury management or if that's something you're trying to get on top of something to help us improve, we always take every client as a different person because everybody's different when treated with cryotherapy. So for an example, someone comes here with post-operation, had a broken arm or an ankle, swollen ankle, sprained ankle, we would always say do a due course of treatments. One treatment will definitely help. You will feel that difference in a sense of the pain management, but I wouldn't say to you one session will be your answer to recovery. We would say to you over a period of sessions where we're able to get under control of that inflammation, the swelling, we're able to process that recovery a lot quicker. Whereas if someone that was coming in, they want the all-round wellness, they want to feel good factor, they want that kick and drive to their day, I would say to you 1 to 2 times a month is more than enough for your day-to-day person. Even down to your average gym goers. That is more than enough for people. So here are our compressions. These are work fantastically with the cold therapy. The cold therapy does all the aiding in the swelling, the inflammation, drawing out any fluid around the areas to where when you come into these compressions, there's no uncomfortability in a sense of when these go on. These are called our Normatec socks. And what these do is they act as basically where the lymphatic drainage, they want to take away and bring back the good. So by doing these, the whole course of these, so you would put on a pair of our leg compressions. I'll explain these ones for you. So with the leg compressions, when you put these on, they're almost like a leg sock. Once you go into these, they're like having you when you go to the doctors, you have your blood pressure taken, it goes tighter, it squeezes that area. So this is what our Normatecs do, but they do them in a more optimized way. So they'll squeeze from the sole of your feet. They'll squeeze from the sole of your feet, going into your calves, up into your quads and your hamstrings with a whole optimized squeeze. So when they're squeezing, they're pushing any lactic acid, any bad cellulars, any kind of bad circulation is pushing that right back into the bloodstream, up into our torso. So like grabbing a roll of toothpaste from the bottom, rolling it all the way up to the top, poof, right back into the bloodstream. And this is how they help with aiding in the circulation of our body. These are what they're fantastic for. A lot of our superstars, the footballers, the boxers, the athletes, they all live and breathe for these, especially with trying to get themselves back out onto that run again, back out doing that sport again. Helping with them, these are the ones for that. So this is the local cryotherapy. And what this is this is a therapy that's very similar to the cold chamber, but with this one, it's a more intricate and more in-depth. It targets an area of where that injury is. So if there's a pain, say if it's your shoulder's where you're suffering with that pain. Normally inflammation doesn't always just travel to that part of that area of where that is. Inflammation could be spread around that shoulder, overcompensating or overuse of that muscle. So by having the local cryotherapy with this, it's not a laser treatment. This just pinpoints to where we extract the nitrogen. This will target that area for you. And by doing that, it stimulates of a more intense kind of course of cryotherapy where it gets into that area. We work these from treatments take from up to 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the size of the muscle. If it's a large area, we'd say up to 10 minutes. Smaller areas, between 3 to 5 minutes is more than enough for these treatments. But this is fantastic for helping targeting your ankle injuries, your sprained ankles, your twisted knees, your meniscus, anything down to ligaments, cartilage. These target fantastically for helping with this. So I would definitely notice yourself, the more and the longer periods that you do cryotherapy, you tend to find that even down to your own performance, your own ability, your sleeping pattern, your metabolism speeds up a lot more. Down to where you're finding yourself that aches and pains become a lot less minimal. You're recovering a lot quicker. You're able to get back and do the things you like to do, the things you love to do, that a lot quicker, and even do them to where you can take them up to a more higher level of performance. So all with cryotherapy, I reassure you, doing it regularly and doing it more often, you become and notice them benefits a whole lot better to your lifestyle.
You've got your Crocs on, your socks on, your gloves on.
Yes.
You've got no jewellery on.
No.
That means you are ready. Jude, what you're going to experience, I'd say for the first 10 to 15 seconds, you're going to feel the nitrogen circling your torso. Nitrogen is naturally heavier than oxygen. It always finds the lowest point of gravity. So we're going to start from the ground up. So you're going to feel it coming into your shins, your calves, the front of your knees, the back of your knees, creeping up into your quads. It will then rise up towards your torso. At the moment, as a human, our natural shiver position is either like this or like this. That's why we've got you stood like that, because you're gathering heat from your vital organs. Towards the end of the session, we will be exposing your vital organs, so we will ask you to drop your arms, and not until I tell you to, though. Jude, I need your first quarter turn for me now, please. It's fantastic. Your legs tend to find it a little bit colder anywhere else in the body. The reason being, your legs is half of your body. You walked in the shop, you're going to walk out the shop. So our legs kind of feel it, sharp and tingly sensation.
They're shaking.
Yeah, they will be shaking, that's absolutely fine. Your body's gone into a thermal shock now. So what that means, your head's sending signals to your body going, crikey, I'm freezing. So what your body's doing, it's going into survival mode. It's producing millions and millions and millions of new blood cells. By producing millions and millions of new blood cells, Jude, that rejuvenates your body, draws inflammation and swelling out of your body. You've come out of a thermal shock now. That's very quick. Well done. I need another quarter turn to me now, Jude. You're nearly coming to your halfway mark. You're doing absolutely fantastic. I ask every new customer this, without saying you're cold or freezing, how do you feel?
Alive.
Alive?
Yeah.
That's always a good thing, that you're alive. That's always a plus.
As in like, you know, kind of singing.
Yeah, I need you to go right round to the screen now, Jude. So all the way round, you're doing absolutely superb. Well done. Some people find the final minute a bit colder.
Yeah.
I think that's just because they noticed the final minute and they're looking at the screen.
No, it just feels colder.
Right, okay. Turn and face me. What happens, Jude, when you step out of the chamber from sub-zero temperatures to room temperatures? That's when your endorphins surge through your body. That's where you'll feel uplifted when your adrenaline gets released. You're doing absolutely fantastic. We're under 50 seconds now. Jude, like I spoke to you about earlier, when we get to 10 seconds, I'll instruct you to drop your arms. When you do, you're going to keep your hands pumping like that for me. By doing so, we're going to expose the vital organs to the cold. Initially, the cold's going to come in a bit like, whoo-hoo, but your body adapts to it within 2 seconds. Before you know you're freezing, I'm getting you out. Okay? Doing fantastic. We're under 30 seconds now, Jude. Smashing it. You're doing really well. You've been peaking between 120 and 135 the whole session, which is absolutely bang on to put the body through its thermal shock. You're doing superb. Coming up to your 15-second mark, I'll soon be instructing you to drop your hands. You're smiling, that's a good sign. Drop your hands for me, Jude. Feel that coming a bit more to the torso?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone does that face. You're doing superb. Absolutely amazing. Chin up for me. We don't mess around when it's time to get out. I'm just going to slip this off your head.
Yeah.
I'm going to lower you down on the ramp.
Yeah.
I'm then going to open the door 6 inches just to let some nitrogen out. Hand you your gown and towel. This is what we do. We recommend you going on the bike. This is just to bring you back to room temperature, just to warm you up a bit quicker.
I feel, well, cold, but only in specific places. So like my elbows, my knees. Generally, I don't feel cold, but I can just feel the cold coming through here. But yeah, just really buzzy and kind of like, I don't really know the word apart from zingy. It's probably, what you're imagining is probably worse than it actually is. Yes, it's really cold, it's freezing, but having John talking all the way through it really helped because I could focus on that. And yeah, just give it a go.
So I'm just going to start this now for the cryofacial. I'm just going to pre-cool. So we always start the cryo local once it's at that cold temperature. I don't want to be doing 30 seconds of having to build it up and pick it up so it gets to us. So we want it nice and cold, ready for when it goes.
Okay.
So this is exactly like how John touched on with the whole body cryotherapy. It sends the body into this shock. So with this local cryofacial going onto your face, it's going to stimulate your collagen ducts to start promoting circulation and better blood circulation to the areas of our face where it's being stimulated.
Okay. Sounds good.
You will definitely, this one here is a big comment, very much with the ladies, with the women as well, especially with the menopausal stage, going through the menopause, struggling with the collagen. Fantastic for helping with that. And it's a non-invasive treatment as well. There's nothing enhancing or going into your skin or in your body. It's just cold nitrogen liquid that is just going around your face for you.
No chemicals.
No chemicals at all. And these are brilliant for helping even with down to people that suffer with like cluster headaches, people that suffer with tension around the face.
Really?
Fantastic for helping release that, because what the cold does is it aids in helping with inflammation, swelling, tension, anything around anywhere where the body is. The cold can treat that.
That looked cold.
It was absolutely freezing. It was absolutely freezing. I have swum in a melted glacier before,
Yeah.
which obviously was 0, but this was way below that, and so cold, but so good.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Cryo, because I know they were saying that 3 minutes in the chamber
Yeah.
is the equivalent of 48 minutes in an ice bath, which I would never last.
Wow, no, me neither. Me neither, but I did 3 minutes there. I'm surprised it kind of equates to that, but
Yeah.
they know what they're talking about. Maybe I could do 48 minutes in an ice bath, but I wouldn't really want to.
I wouldn't want to. And the thing about getting wet cold is it is wet cold, and I think drying off and everything, it's just pretty scary.
Yeah,
it takes ages.
It does take ages, and it just gives you a different feel. But that was just incredible. It was exhilarating.
Yeah, you were saying it was zingy.
Yeah, yes, I did, and that's kind of, yeah, that's a onomatopoeic word which really explained kind of how I felt, and that was physically and mentally as well.
What I thought was really good, and I hadn't done cryo at all before we'd come to this, and that was just such an incredible experience.
Yeah.
Was whilst you're in there, it was Kaylin who was just talking all the way through. Did you need that distraction?
Yes, definitely, because it kind of, you're obviously aware that you're freezing and, you know, more than freezing, but it, rather than standing there going, oh, I'm really cold, it takes you out of that, and you have to have that, because otherwise I think it would be very difficult to last all that time.
Yeah.
Do you? Without that?
I think I'd be thinking about it too much.
Yes.
And then, because he gets you to turn round as well, and I can imagine, you know, you turn round and you're looking at this and there's still a minute to go.
Yeah.
Really...
Exactly. And then you're leading up to the bit where you know that you're going to have to, because you have your arms like this.
Yes.
So it doesn't really keep you warmer, but it sort of does. And even if it's psychological, you feel like you're being protected. And then the last, I think, 30 seconds, you have to take your arms away. And that was the hardest bit to do. So he just takes your mind off all of it, really.
Yeah, it was a really interesting experience, because cryo, from what they were saying, is it's there to supplement pain recovery and injury recovery. And you then did the facial, but you were having migraines at the time.
Yes.
And it sort of addressed it, didn't it?
It really did. I didn't have migraine after that, and I'd had them for
It was constant,
a few
wasn't
weeks. Yeah, exactly. So it took it away, and I don't think it can be coincidence. You know, I firmly put it down to the experience, and they explain all the science behind it as well.
Yes, which is, and if you missed it, do rewind, because the video is absolutely brilliant. He takes us through everything. And whilst you were doing the facial, you were having the massage.
Yeah.
Now that's known as the freeze and squeeze treatment. So you get 3 minutes in the cryo chamber, which is just that nitrogen freezing you from the inside out kind of thing.
Yeah.
They monitor you all the way.
Yes.
And then the squeezing is almost getting rid of that lactic acid that's built up anyhow. How was that?
It feels a bit like a lymphatic drainage type thing. And I'm sure that that's the effect that it has, because it's really tight, and it actually I wouldn't say it hurt, but it was kind of verging on that. You know, I was thinking, please don't get any tighter.
Got it.
So, but it has to be like that to do its job. So actually, I would take the freezing experience over that.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
How interesting.
That's personal. That's just personal.
And the thing about cryo is we were surprised to come to it, because I've only ever heard of it relating to professional sports, you know, injuries and that kind of thing. I didn't think it would be something that you or I could do.
No.
And yet that is something that's so open to the community. It's affordable as well. I mean, it's at a higher price point, but when you think about the equipment and so on, it is still generally affordable. It certainly is a one-off.
Yes.
How do you think the community in general might take to cryo? Because it's nothing that I would have ever thought about.
Well, put it this way, I don't think I would have tried it
without the show.
Without the show, without doing it, you know, for kind of, you know, reasons, research reasons. But I'm really glad I did. But if, you know, it's in Bedford, it's just in a parade of shops, and I think most people just walk past it every day and not think, oh, I'll try that one day. However, I would hope that with other alternative therapies that have become normal, like a chiropractor, for example, or osteopath, that perhaps it should be an every day or an every week or an every month thing for people, and it will be down the line. But I think it's just because it's so new that, you know, certainly I never considered it or never really heard of it. Next
up, we were invited to try out the martial method, and this is a blend of martial arts and fitness, like a fitness class. And this one really pushed me. Let's take a look.
The martial method is a mixed martial arts and fitness studio. We also teach juniors here as well. So we teach mixed martial arts, which is an integrated skill set. So that means we teach like kickboxing, wrestling, grappling, for the sport of mixed martial arts. But we also cover things like self-defense and fitness. So you can come here, you can do fitness sessions, which are non-contact classes. So for students who are wanting to kind of understand and learn mixed martial arts, but without the contact aspect of it. So they don't want to spar or do any kind of training that may give them any injuries. We set this up in 2002, so I came here and sort of paired up with the Fitness Collective, and we kind of transferred this space from a yoga studio to a martial arts studio. The thing about martial arts is it's obviously quite a dynamic sport. It requires a lot of different things, so you have to be fit to participate in martial arts, and that doesn't mean you need to come in with a base level of fitness. It's about maybe starting from the bottom and kind of working towards something. So that gives you kind of goals and reasons to come into the studio and keep progressing. Another aspect of martial arts is you need to be quite mobile. So we go through lots of mobility exercises, help you kind of understand the body a little bit more, how to move, how to, if you're kicking, you've got to know how to kind of stretch and mobilize your hips. If you're punching, you need to know how to mobilize your shoulders. So I've taken quite a different approach to martial arts as I've got a little bit older. I'm starting to think about playing the long game. So when I was in my early 20s, it was all about fighting and, sparring and all this kind of stuff. As I've started to get a little bit older now, I'm kind of taking a bit more of a holistic approach, and I'm thinking about I still want the same level of skills, but also want to be looking after my body for the long game. So lots of stretching, mobilizing the body, looking after the mind as well, which is another thing that we just touched on. I do social prescribing as a day job. So basically my day job is to support people with their physical and mental health, long-term health conditions, and sort of anxiety and depression. So been doing that for about 4 years now, and that, I guess, helps bolster my coaching skills. So, being able to have open conversations with people, support them with their mental health, and finding holistic ways to support people. We've got a set of core principles that we kind of work to here, which I think is really important. It's maybe what's missing from modern martial arts that we don't kind of have anymore. So, discipline, humility, integrity, respect. These are the kind of core principles that kind of help build and shape character. And I think that's really important when you're coming to learn a sport like this. And then obviously you get that kind of feeling, endorphins, when you're coming here to train. If you do an hour's fitness class, you come away feeling good. It's not like other exercise classes where you come away and you might be feeling quite overworked, burning out the nervous system and things like here. We have quite a balanced approach here. So we're going to demo a technique called the technical stand-up. So from a self-defense point of view, I think it's really important to know how to stand up safely. Okay, it's probably a really overlooked part of self-defense and also in MMA. So when we're grounded, basically we need to get up to our feet safely. So I'm just going to start on the floor here. Okay, once I'm on the floor, I have to imagine that there's some opponents here. So this is quite difficult to imagine when you're solo doing this drill. So the first thing I need to make sure is my legs are really important here. So if there's an opponent standing in front of me, my legs are the first line of defense to that opponent. So I can kick them away using my legs like this, okay, or I can up kick them if they're leaning over me. But at some point, I can't stay here, especially from a self-defense point of view. If there's multiple opponents, okay, or if I'm on the concrete, I need to get to my feet as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do is sit up very quickly, and I'm going to post one hand behind me. This is really important. So here, I need to make sure that my hand is directly behind me, not to the side. If I go here, and there's any force coming in this direction, I'm just going to slip back down to the floor again. So I'm going to post this hand here, so I've got good structure. I'm going to take my opposite leg, so I've got my right hand behind me. I'm going to tuck my left leg in. I'm going to have my right leg extended like so. And then from there, I'm going to have my left hand out. So what I'm trying to do is create a line from my right hand to my left hand. And that's going to create space and distance between me and my opponent. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to get up first. So I'm going to lift my weight off the floor and make sure that I can balance first. So you're going to need, this is something that we do in our fitness classes. So you're going to need core strength here and balance. Once I'm up, I'm going to pendulum my weight. So this leg is going to come through and it's going to step right behind me towards my right hand. So I come up first, I can kick, and then get straight to my feet. This hand stays extended the whole time, and that helps create distance between me and a possible opponent or attacker. One more.
I found that so difficult. It's, as you can see, when I'm trying to get up off the floor, at least use your core. I have no core.
No, me neither.
But it was fun.
It was really fun to do. It's not so much fun to look at you doing
Struggling,
it.
yeah.
I mean, I don't mean you. I mean, you know, to watch yourself back is really hard. But yeah, it was fun. But so, what kind of did you kind of get from it? How did it make you feel, and did you get something from it?
I actually found it quite empowering though, because of what it was. We always, you know, there's that almost that stereotype about martial arts where it's a bit like self-defense and you can look after yourself. But a lot of what he was teaching us, it's that block and then the pushing up, that felt, you know, when I finally got up to my feet, you kind of go, no, I could do that. And so maybe not that I'm not going to be scared walking down the street, because sadly, that's just something that we all do. But at least somewhere in my brain, I've been primed to know if I need to throw a punch, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think it was empowering.
Okay, well, that's really, really good. And how about from a keep fit type of perspective? Are there other things that you would do instead?
100%. Now, that's nothing against the martial method. I actually thought it was really good fun to do something different.
It was. That
can be done as a class. It can be done one-to-one. I'm a performer.
Yeah.
So you'll see, you rewind the video. I'm trying to get up nicely. So I would choose more dance-based.
Yeah.
Zumba, burlesque.
Yes.
Even pole exercise.
Yeah, wow.
You know, it'll go.
That will help your core.
Yeah.
I mean, really would.
I could even get up the pole. But it was great. And I would definitely say if that kind of power is your thing, it was really, really good fun. For me, I think I prefer something prettier. That sounds awful, doesn't it?
No, I know exactly what you mean. I do know exactly what you mean. I did some kickboxing when I was younger and fitter, and I've also done dancing again when I was younger, and I love them both. So one has the power and one has the prettiness, and the, you know, completely different ways of moving. But I think there's value in them both. And I wasn't very good at this martial arts based fitness, but I did like it. I did enjoy it.
And I think he's a really good instructor.
He's really good.
So
that really helps.
With that, if you're trying something new for the first time, you might want to maybe go on YouTube first of all, not to necessarily do things, because it's really hard on YouTube because the instructor can't watch you.
Yeah.
But if you're on there and you just have a look at what the exercises are and maybe what it feels like, and use today's show to give you that insight, you might think, oh, I'll give that one a go, or actually I won't give that a go because it doesn't look like something I want to do.
It's not for everybody, but I'd say that you're right. The feeling of empowerment afterwards, it's worth giving it a try.
Yes, yeah. Next up, in the same building, we had the Fitness Collective, and this was run by Coach Dan Fram. Now, his focus was all about women doing strength training because he set up his gym to be a safe space for women, because I know when I go into a gym and all these bodybuilders, I'm so intimidated.
Yeah.
Gym intimidation is a thing.
It's a real thing.
Is a thing.
Yeah.
And you know, we're always talking about mental health, and it's always, you know, do stuff for your physical health, and that's great. But if you're scared to do it...
Exactly. If it's hard to walk in the building in the first place, then are you ever going to relax doing what you're doing? And yeah, you need to feel comfortable.
Let's take a look at the Fitness Collective.
So the Fitco's been here it's actually been here for about 8 years, but I took it over just under 2 years ago with the aim really to help people build strength, reduce pain and improve their quality of life. That's really sort of, I guess, the stamp I've tried to put on it. I think one of the things I've noticed within sort of just, you know, working with sort of people for the last 20 years is a lot of people come and they have sort of little niggles in their knees, their back, their shoulders, and 9 times out of 10 it's probably because they're not very strong enough. So that's one of the things that we've tried to do is, to, you know, when people come in, is to help them sort of reduce those sort of niggles that they would have, and help strengthen the weak areas, and subsequently, you know, it helps improve their quality of life. We have, I would say, probably 80% females. I think one of the things that, you know, being in the gym space for the last 20 years is, you know, like you said, there's a bit of a stereotype that, you know, it's guys, you know, lifting sort of heavy weights. And I think because we've sort of made it's like a private space, you know, there's no mirrors. You can only come in here if you're working with a trainer or you're in a small group. You know, people come in here, you know, obviously they pay that a little bit more. They get sort of free coffee. There's sort of, you know, respectable music on there. So I think people feel welcome to come to this space knowing that it's not going to be crowded. They're going to be able to access the equipment. They've got attention to detail from their coach. So I think generally, you know, my experience, guys generally think that they know more than they do in the gym context. And women probably don't have that confidence. They think they can't do as much as they actually can. So I think when they come into this space, quite quickly they realise that, oh wow, I can actually do this. You know, and having a coach alongside them, whether it be a small group or one-to-one type stuff, just helps them, and it's really helped us to sort of grow our community and help people get stronger, reduce their pain and improve their quality of life. I've recently turned 40, so you know, for me this is, in many ways, it's all I've known. I remember watching World's Strongest Man when I was like 4 years old, and I remember 4 or 5, you know, taking my top off and going, oh, I want to be a strong man. So as cheesy as that sounds, I think that sort of, you know, when I left school, I sort of just wanted to sort of work in the gym environment. So I started my PT qualification when I was 18. Did that for a number of years, then transitioned into actually like a teaching environment. So I used to work for a college in London. That's where I'm originally from. I used to teach what we call neat young people. So kids not in education, employment or training. So that's 16 to 24-year-old, and I actually used to teach the fitness qualification for a number of years. Then when my family and I moved to Bedford, I transitioned back into sort of PT. I've always done that, but transitioned back into working in a private space, one-to-one stuff, with the hope and dream that at some point I'll be able to sort of have my own premises. And yeah, the opportunity opened up a couple of years ago. Yeah, here we are. Social media, I think there's pros and cons to it, which has massively impacted, well, it's impacted every sort of sphere of sort of, you know, the sort of social settings we find ourselves in. But I think when it comes to the fitness space, I think some of the sort of the pros to it are, it's made it accessible to everyone. I think with YouTube and stuff, you can quite easily access 10-minute workouts. You see, especially sort of for females, you see, females lifting heavy weights, and there's not this thing, I'm going to get bulky and I'm going to sort of, look masculine or whatever it is. Whereas before, I think people sort of from my generation, even I've worked with people sort of in their sort of 30s and 40s, like, oh, I don't want to lift weights, I don't want to get big. But then they realise, 6 months in, oh, I'm just stronger, I'm more athletic. So I think that has definitely helped it. But then on the flip side, I think the same thing I said is a good thing is also a bad thing. Everybody is putting content out, and there's no sort of, I guess we would say, sort of regulating body that can govern, is this good stuff, is it bad stuff? And I think, I always say, like, sex sells, right? And if you've got people who are, very minimal clothing, whether it male or female, looking quite lean, athletic, straight away people take that, oh, they must be an authority within the industry. Whereas 9 times out of 10, they're probably not. They've just got very good people who are marketing them and trying to sell them. We want to ask as many questions as possible. We want to make sure that people are trying to find as much information from people as possible in order that we can actually best help them. And I think for me, what I always try and do, especially when I work one-to-one with someone, is keep things really, really simple. So we want to make sure that, if you say that you've got, I don't know, an hour a week to work out, well, if we can say to that person, okay, let's make sure that we are giving you something that you're able to do that's sustainable moving forward. So if you've only got an hour, okay, well, let's start with maybe half an hour, and let's be consistent at that. Let's try and do that for a month. Even though you probably could do more, let's do that for a month, build some consistency, get some momentum, and then maybe go to an hour. Or if you've got 2 20-minute windows, let's start with that. So I always say to people, what's the worst week you could have? What could you do in that worst week? And then from there, let's try and build some consistency, rather than say, 5 times a week, let's go. 9 times out of 10, that people don't really normally do that. So we try and keep it super simple. And I'll always people rather leave here feeling that they could do more, and then they come back that they can actually do more, rather than feeling completely exhausted and then leave here feeling, oh, I feel dead. So I think, if we can encourage people to hit 70-80% effort levels consistently 2 to 3 times a week, consistency is king, and it will compound it over time. You'll see results from that.
I could see you sitting there wincing as you were watching that.
I apologise to viewers for having to see that. It was really uncomfortable doing it, mentally uncomfortable doing it, but it was okay because there was no one else there, just us. And now, many more people potentially have seen that. So But there was, yes, I did, and it was a very safe place in which to do it.
And again, instructor Dan was great, wasn't he? He was really supportive. So,
yes,
even something, and I think this is the thing that's really important. Even if it's something that you either are dreading or think you might hate, if you've got a good instructor, giving it a go is probably at least a good thing, and at least you then know whether you really don't like it or not.
Well, I don't know about you, but I felt that he really put us at ease.
Yes, I agree.
And that he did provide a safe space. And so did
Lee.
Yep. And so did the guys at CryoHub. And that was the theme running through all of that. It was a very safe space in which to be vulnerable physically, essentially.
Yes, because both of them, and this is going back to Marshall now, to Lee McGrath, I know you could almost see him computing, right, she can do this, she can't do this, she can't do this.
He did.
And he changed all of those moves. And Dan was really good at adapting as well.
Yes.
And he was, because I know you had an injury that day when we filmed that.
I did.
And he could adapt to it.
Yes, so that's potentially why I couldn't really move very well on the floor. I'd really hurt my leg. It kind of blew up to twice the size, and it was a horrible injury anyway. So he had to sort of adapt things around that, and so it was difficult to kind of move about anyway. But it is what it is, and the exercise I could do even with my damaged leg, and I could do it. And if I have continued doing that, then I know that there would have been a benefit to it.
And under supervision.
Yes.
So this is where, again, YouTube's great for just having a taster and having a look, but if you have an injury especially, or you are doing something which potentially, if you're doing it in the wrong posture, it could be problematic. This is why having a personal trainer or somebody who you can ask for help makes a massive difference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he corrected us in our movement, you know, just tiny little corrections, but it would have potentially saved a further injury or made it more comfortable or whatever. I always think that YouTube is great for so many things, but for something like that, especially if it's new, having
someone
a qualified instructor is the best thing.
Yes. And so relating to that, Dan talks a lot about preventative exercise. So with mental health, we know that people come to therapy, coaching and so on, usually at the point of crisis. It's very difficult to come to physical exercise at the point of crisis because you're already injured or you're already in trouble. So
or really needing to do exercise for whatever reason.
So it's really important to kind of start earlier.
I know.
But what I loved about what he was saying was even like the squatting exercises that I was doing.
You were so good at all of those.
But
you're amazing.
You can squat down and load your washing machine and your dishwasher, and it helps. It makes a difference because you've just strengthened the quads, you've strengthened your flexibility as well. So I think there is something in certain exercises as we get older.
Absolutely. And, you know, as we get older, then it's sort of weight bearing and resistance exercises that are the most important. So what he was showing you was amazing. And yes, you can incorporate it so easily into every day. Which is really great. But yeah, you were incredible at everything he gave you to do.
I think because strength is just standing on the spot doing stuff, it's a lot easier than what Lee was doing, which is getting up and moving around.
Why?
So, two different gyms there.
Don't rewatch that one.
You tell us in the comments which you might have had a preference for, which ones you do, what you find helps you as well, especially, and maybe different things at different ages. We calmed it down a bit, and I went with our producer to Lunar Spirit Wellbeing. Now, Jen, she's been on the show before, Jennifer McKenzie. She shared her own life story and how Lunar Spirit Wellbeing came about. But we actually went for it was a breathing exercise, and it was just really calm, really peaceful. Let's take a look.
This is our outdoor space where we hold yoga, breathwork and that when we've got the finer weather, and our full moon ceremony around the fire pit. I'll show you that in a minute. We've got our outdoor ice bath here in nature, where I take people through one-to-one or part of the retreats. And we had this studio purpose built for people to come along and heal, to connect with each other, to connect with nature, connect with themselves on a deeper energetic level. And really why I built this at home and turned my home into a wellbeing space is because I have young children. And I also have autism, and I don't like leaving the house very much. So I've got my home and my well-being. I can commute the long commute down the garden path to work, and it works for me, and it works for my family, and they come along as well and help with setting up, and they can experience this as well. So it's all about connection, and it's about connecting to my core values as well. And then we're going to move our hands up to our sacral area. And we're going to do the same again. Breathe the energy down into the sacral. Focus all our awareness and our attention into the sacral. Breathe the energy down. Breathe the breath down. And then breathe the energy up. Exhaling stress. Inhaling the energy, life force energy into your sacral. And then breathing out. Breathing the breath, the energy down into the sacral. And then breathing the breath out. Exhaling stress. Opening up the sacral chakra. Chakra of creativity, personal power. We birth ideas. Sow our seeds that we want to put out into the world here. Our chakra of intuition, our deep knowing. So breathing the energy down. Exhale. Moving the hands up to the solar plexus, just where the ribs meet at the bottom, just above your navel. Breathe the energy down into your solar plexus. And then exhale. Breathe the energy down. Exhale. Here you might feel your digestive system gurgling because you're relaxing the nervous system. You're connecting with your vagal tone. You're helping to increase vagal tone here, which the vagus nerve is connected to our gut and digestion. Breathe, exhale. Breathing the energy into the solar plexus. And exhale. Breathing the energy down, the breath down into the body. And exhaling. And one more time for the solar plexus, bring the energy down. And then exhale, releasing the stress there, releasing the stress in the gut, in the stomach, in the digestive system, in the solar plexus. Moving your hands up to your heart space, connecting to your heart space, breathing the energy down into your heart space. Feeling your heart expanding, connecting to love, compassion for yourself. And exhaling. Releasing any fears and closed offness from your heart space with the breath. Breathing in, expanding the heart space, expanding the chest, and breathing out, letting go. And breathing in, letting go, connecting to the heart space.
You're very calm watching that.
Yes, it does make you slow down. I'm sure like my blood pressure's lower just watching it, and
just
heart
listening
rate.
to her.
And how did you feel doing it?
I really enjoyed this. Now, I had a chat with our producer after this. Now, I know this isn't necessarily something that our producer would go for or like, and that's okay. It's something I would probably go for because I'm more into the meditative practice and the chakra alignment and that kind of thing. But it just kind of depends on where you sit in the holistic health sphere. And if it's like yoga, I won't do that because I find it really boring.
So that's interesting that you would find yoga boring, but I
was just lying down and listening, and for me there was a lot of sort of cleansing from that, and so I enjoyed that and probably would do it again. So, and again, great instructor.
Well, exactly, and it all comes back to that all of the time.
She's so knowledgeable about how the spiritual alignment of your body and how that connects with everything else. And again, may not be your thing, but when somebody knows about it and can actually teach you about it while she's training you, I think that makes a huge difference. So this is something we say on the show a lot as well. There are many, many different practices out there.
Yes.
It's not necessarily about what practice is best, because we know different things work for different people, but it's really important that you find an instructor or a therapist who knows their stuff, and Jen certainly knows her stuff.
She really does. Yes,
So,
she does.
I think cryo was just that little bit more exhilarating.
Yes, I think it. Well, I can't compare the two because I've not been to see Jen and had that treatment. But looking at them both objectively, the CryoHub is sort of has a, an energy to it.
And this is something we've talked about on the show before. There are different ways to improve your self-care. You can relax, you can recharge. Sometimes you need different things for each. Sometimes you may be just drawn to one over the other. So relaxing would be your meditations, your going out for a walk, mindfulness practice. Recharging may well be cryo, which is that blast. It will be Marshall's Fitness. It'll be going to the gym, that kind of thing. If it works for you, do the thing that suits, and do the thing that suits you at that moment as well. Because there's no point forcing yourself to do something exhilarating if all you want to do is just lie there and have a massage.
Well, exactly. We feel different at different times of the week or whatever. So, you might fancy a massage one week and a run the next.
Now, you did something quite special this Christmas. Let's take a look.
So here we have the yurt 1. Our workshop is going to be in yurt 2. Simon's already here. He's been making it very comfortable, Christmassy. And I think everyone else has arrived.
As I said, the whole idea of this workshop is to find what their health is, to see what they look like, how they feel, what their role, their function, their purpose is in your life. I love my health. I love my health. In the health work that I've been coming for a couple of years, it's just there's a lot of things about Christmas, which about children and about finding ourselves. I think as adults, sometimes we lose that inner child, that inner elf. So the inner elf experience here is just to use breathwork and hypnosis to find that inner elf and to bring it to our attention and for it to be used during this Christmas period. Christmases are, lots of people love having family and friends around and having that enjoyment of drinking and dancing and sort of watching TV together. But for other people, that's really stressful because you don't know, you don't know what someone's going to say or do that's going to trigger you. So what we're going to be doing in this workshop is releasing those triggers and going, right, we don't really care what so-and-so says. We know we're happy about ourselves, not the way that we're doing things and moving forward from that. And allow yourself now to go deeper and deeper. Allow yourself to relax. Let your arms by your sides.
Tatiana, it's lovely to have been part of this workshop with you today. How are you feeling after everything?
Thank you. I feel so alive. I love life, and I'm so glad that we had a chance to share this space together and just to be here, breathe, go within, and just re-energize for the whole Christmas period.
It was great to have that experience a couple of weeks before Christmas, and I feel Christmassy and amazing, and it was great to have so many people here doing it.
So I've just come out of Simon's workshop, which was amazing in many ways. First of all, not least because Simon is really excellent at what he does. He takes you through all sorts of different breathing. The hypnosis section I wasn't really sure what to expect, but that was very interesting. It takes you, I think it had different effects on different people, but generally it seemed to just make everyone, including me, feel like we were completely present, could hear everything that Simon was saying, but almost like I was floating, and a couple of other people said the same thing as well, like you weren't aware of anything around you at all. It's a very strange experience and not something I can really explain very well, but the whole workshop was great. I do feel Christmassy, but more importantly, I think I have remembered who I am inside, which we were talking about this in the session, that it's very easy to forget when you've got real life going on, you know, mortgages, some people have got children, jobs, etc., etc. You can kind of forget who you used to be when you were young and carefree and you don't have those responsibilities. But, you know, a lot of us said back then that's who we really were, and why aren't we like that now? Why aren't we like that now? So it was very interesting for so many different reasons. And so I feel quite reflective and I feel energized, but more than that, I feel relaxed. So I feel both all at the same time. I thoroughly recommend Simon and his workshops, and he will have more. He also does one-to-one sessions with hypnosis, which I've just been talking to him about because I think that would be really interesting to explore a little bit more. So that's for the new year. And I've just met a bunch of really, really lovely people too. So I have had a great Saturday afternoon, and thank you very much to Simon.
I mean, all of these things you can look at and go, oh, well, it's not for me, and that's fine. But you know what? It is for those people who go, and people have committed to it, and it works.
Yes, and the people who I was there with,
Yeah.
I'd never met them before, but they were really welcoming. Simon was really welcoming.
Yes. So again, instructor, therapist.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
a hypnotherapist.
Yes, he's a hypnotherapist, and he did a lot of meditation and you know, that kind of quiet thing. It was bringing out your inner elf, so really bringing out your inner child.
Yes.
That was the kind of the aim. So there was a lot of, you talk about regression and thinking about when you're a child. So there was a lot to it, even though it kind of it looks very, very fun and, you know, very lots of things in it. But the message in it was I suppose it was quite a serious message, and he did do an awful lot of taking everyone back to their childhood and a favourite memory, and there was a lot of that as well. So it was.
We didn't show that because that's quite personal.
It's very personal, but that was the kind of the aim of the workshop. So everything else was intermingled, and there was Christmas food and there were Christmas songs, and it was all very Christmassy, and it did really put me in a Christmas mood.
Oh, brilliant!
And I came out feeling really uplifted, which was great.
Yes, I love it. And actually, when you say inner child, we had a chronic pain practitioner and coach, and she does a little exercise where, to stop ourselves speaking critically to ourselves, she'll put a photograph of herself as a child on her phone and just ask herself, well, you know, are you going to speak to her like that? And I think it's brilliant.
Wow.
Inner child work it needs to be done under a therapist, because you can open some real cans of worms, but it's very powerful. So brilliant. Well, in the same vein as holistic therapy, we also went to try out chiropractic, and let's take a look at how I got on.
The body is designed to move around, because as we move, what we do is we actually sort of hydrate the discs. Because you probably heard this story that when you get up in the morning, you're about an inch taller than when you go to bed, because of the compressive force of gravity and what we do, like sitting and all that, during the day. Now, can you tell me, have you had any traumas? And obviously, you're very physical. You did sort of the roller skating, and you did some ballroom dancing as well.
Yeah.
What injuries have you had in the past?
Actually, no injuries from it.
Nothing at all.
I've been you get to a point at skating and then you get too scared to do anything else. So I've never really had any injuries from
Fantastic.
it. But what I do know is just the posture that you take when you're skating,
Yes.
it's a very arched back.
Yeah.
And I think that contributes to
Yes, you mean the
overarching.
Yeah.
And then that's same with ballroom as well,
Yeah.
actually, because again,
Yeah,
you're back there.
Yeah.
Plus with skates, well, ballroom you've got heels, but skates are heavy. So you've
Yeah.
kind of got the weird pressure and the weird weight balance as well.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, but no falls, no sprains, no strains, nothing. So you managed to get through all of that.
I have.
Yeah, with no
Yes.
ankle sprains, no knee sprains, nothing.
Nothing like that. Yeah, I think I've jarred my ankle a couple of times.
Okay, which one?
I'm trying to think, actually. I think both, to be honest.
Both, okay.
You know,
But
you
nothing
jump
that
and
was
you land
memorable?
funny. No, nothing
That was
broken.
memorable.
No.
Okay, but nothing that was sprained.
Nothing that was sprained either, no.
Okay, all right,
no.
that's fine. And no operations of any kind at all? No, fantastic. And what about other accidents, like falls downstairs, off chairs, car accidents, any other traumas at all?
No, nothing. The only thing I've had once was someone went into the back of my car.
Okay, so you had a road traffic
But
accident,
it
yeah?
wasn't there was no pain after that, or
I hear you,
or at least,
I hear you,
know,
I hear you.
nothing
But
to-
how badly was your car damaged?
It was actually written off. To be
Written
fair.
off, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Now this is interesting because this is what pretty much every patient says, because I have to really dig down to find out sort of, and then they say,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there was that one accident and the car was written off. Yeah, there was one patient and that was really, I mean, it's scary what people forget.
Yeah.
And this patient was dragged along for about 20 meters by a car, and she totally forgot about it until I sort of said, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
And they said, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Because actually, the car that went into me was
Yeah.
worse off than my car. So
I understand.
So although you know
Yeah.
because what I had a tow bar on my car, and so
Yeah,
it went
perfect,
straight
yeah.
into it. So whilst the whole chassis moved and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
which meant that it was a big fix or don't use your car anymore kind of
Yeah.
thing. The other car was pretty much left in the middle of the road with a radiator.
Yeah. No, I understand.
So
So it
because
came
of
at you with
that-
some force, yeah.
Well, I was stopped and he was.
Yeah.
I was stopped
Yeah.
to turn.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah, he hit you.
know.
Okay, but as far as you were aware, you don't remember any
I
neck
don't
pain or
remember
anything like
anything
that?
like that at all. No,
Okay.
no, nothing at all.
All right. And you didn't have an examination, no x-rays, nothing?
No.
Okay. Whiplash is very, very common. Okay, and whiplash is a serious, serious problem. Because what you have is you have these 7 little bones that are quite like a thin stalk. And it's like a whip, right, when you sort of do that. And that damage can stay with you for the rest of your life. Right, you may not notice it,
Yeah.
but what they have found, or certainly what I've found, is that 20 years ago somebody had a little knock and now their neck is severely arthritic. And there's no other incidents because unfortunately that little damage that has been done to the little muscles that hold the bones together can be permanent, right? So whiplash is not to be underrated, okay? And then of course what we do is, as you'll learn as we go through, is the way we hold ourselves, the way we hold our heads and all that absolutely aggravates that
I just think the
weakness.
fact you said about the eye is really interesting because I must be doing something weird
Yeah,
without
yeah.
even knowing.
Absolutely.
Because I've done it all my whole life. Because
you've done
I've been lazy my whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're
I would have just naturally.
exactly. And you'll find out in a minute as we progress through this, right, that the compensation pattern that your body's in, you're unaware of because it's what you do.
Yeah.
It's what
Yeah,
you do.
yeah, yeah.
But that compensation pattern has a price. Because your body is like a deck of house of cards.
Yes.
You know, you will go for so long and then you put the one card on and boom.
You have just, I think, it made me realise, because you know I said about the hip
Yes.
and everything, and
Yes.
I know I said posture.
Yes.
What I mean is I sit like this quite a lot,
Yeah.
and it is genuinely because my television's there.
Yeah. And you're using that eye. Using that eye. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's mad.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But the awareness that you're going to gain over the next sort of 20, 30 minutes is going to help you to help yourself later on. One of the stresses that we put on our body is our posture and gravity. Okay, and I'll explain more to you in a moment. So the first thing that we're doing here is we're looking at your posture because your posture plays a massive part in neck, shoulder, and back pain. Okay? And you will understand all of that in a moment because you're going to experience it. And the other stress we will address as soon as I've explained this one to you, okay? So this is, as I said to you, this is exactly what every patient will go through when they're with me, okay? Because I need them to
understand why they are having the symptoms they're having, but also more importantly, what they can do about it.
Yep.
Okay, turn the face that way for me. Now, if I may just lower it like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so if we look at you, what we're looking at levels. So if we look here, you're not too bad. Okay, so you know, a little bit lower on that side, a little bit higher on that side. Okay, but if I do that, if I do that, if I do that, okay, if I do that, and all the way down here. Okay, you feel all that, yes? So that's you every single day. You are creating that stress and tension in your body every single day. Okay, let me explain why. So, we as human beings are inherently lazy, all right? What we do is we allow gravity to win. So, in an ideal world, we would all stand like that. Nobody does. Everybody stands like that. And that, remember what I said about osteoarthritis? Osteoarthritis is man-made, woman-made, right? We create stress that then over years becomes arthritis in our neck. How? This is where mass comes in. Right, so vectors, So you may remember them. Right, so a 10-pound head here is 10 pounds. The same 10-pound head at 15 degrees forward is now 27, is now 40, is now 49, is now 60. And this is where the world lives every day. And that's why neck problems are becoming much more prevalent. And I'm certainly seeing a lot more neck and back problems since COVID because people are working from home. So that's arthritis. That's a normal curve of the neck. But it doesn't stop at the neck, because the way that you hold your head has a direct effect on the lumbar lordosis as well. So now you've got back pain and you've got back problems. And unfortunately, there is a link between the lower back and the neck because of the shape of it. If one is bad, the other is going to be bad. All right, so let's see what you're doing, shall we?
Yep.
So bear with me. So let's have a look. Are you okay to share this?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So this is you.
Yeah.
So the green is your center of gravity.
Right.
The red is you. Okay?
Right.
So can you see what you're doing?
Yes.
So what you're doing is your spine
yeah.
is going this way.
Yes.
Is going this way. So you are leaning much more over to the right.
Yes.
And can you see what your eyes are doing?
Yes.
Yeah? So, if I show you on here, what you're doing is, in an ideal situation, your spine should be here, as should everybody's, like a flagpole.
Yeah.
Equal strength, right on the guide ropes. What you're doing is you're doing that. Yeah? Now, if you do that every day, what have we now just increased?
Yeah, the pressure.
The stress and the pressure on your discs and on your vertebra. So over time, you are going to create long-term problems. Yes?
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah.
Now, if we have a look at your side position, look at that.
At least I can see my head. Yeah. I know it as well. That's the worst part.
Now, the thing here, right, is that that and this is you at your best.
Oh, good.
Because let's face it, right? What are we all going to do when we know cameras being pointed at us? We're going to stand better, and we're going to stand here. So this is you at your best. Okay? So you at your best is at that angle there.
It's still
now
wrong.
that angle, right, is basically taking a head that weighs 12 pounds. So the computer says you're a woman, you're this tall, you weigh this much. So on average, your head for a woman would weigh about 12 pounds. Okay? But because of that angle that you've created, your head now weighs 36 pounds.
Oh my goodness. That's more than double.
More than double. So there's 36 pounds, nearly 3 times. 36 pounds of stress in your neck and in your shoulders every single day.
Yeah.
But remember, this is you at your best.
Yeah.
Okay?
So when I'm slouching, it's going to be way worse.
It's going to be way, way worse. So I can change this as a chiropractor, so I can get your spine level, but I cannot change this.
Okay.
Because this is the habit.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I can loosen you up in 5 minutes, right?
But I have to work at that.
Exactly, because what will happen when you leave here?
I'm just going to go back.
You're going to go back.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to change your habit.
Yeah.
So let me teach you something. So if you turn to face me. Now, we as human beings, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So we as human beings, right, have a horrible habit of locking our knees when we stand. So what we do is we're going to...
Yes, yes, of course.
So that's not going to help us, is it? So what I encourage all my patients to do is start by doing what Chinese martial artists do, right? And what any kind of sort of... that kind of sort of form of exercise does, is we bend our knees.
Right.
Okay, now what happens, look at my upper body.
Yeah.
What happens to my body when we bend our knees?
Yeah, it goes back into
And so
alignment.
I'm now much more stable,
Yes.
all right, and I'm much more straighter in my torso,
that's true.
upper
Yeah,
body,
yeah, yeah.
So that's the first thing I want you to do.
Right, okay.
So come here for me, and just stand here for me again, and just, feel that, remember how that feels. So we're going to start by just softening our knees. So soften your knees, that's it. Nice and soft. As if you're dancing. Remember that? Dancing, yeah? Dancing, okay. So we're going to open our chest just a little bit, not over. We're going to keep our chin level, okay? And if I do that now, what do you feel?
Yeah, that's not as bad as actually when you did it the first time.
No. So that's the first thing that we're going to practice, okay? Now, 2 more things that we need to change.
It feels weird though.
It does feel weird. Why?
Because it's not normal.
It's not normal. It's just not a habit, okay?
Yeah.
But the thing is that I promise you that if you do what I'm going to ask you to do in the next sort of few minutes, right, you will change over the next few months, all right? You will. Everybody does who does what is required.
Okay.
So if I do that, can you feel that?
Yeah.
Horrible, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah? Now look at your hands.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we do that, we roll our shoulders.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to
yeah.
just point our thumbs forward.
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just as an aside, that we have three brains. We have that reptilian brain.
Yeah.
The reptilian brain is constantly on the lookout for danger. Constantly. Okay? Now, when you are approached by somebody who has their hands like that, your reptilian brain is going, beware, beware, danger, danger, danger. Okay, because what have you got in here? A weapon.
Yeah.
Potentially. But if you go like that, the reptilian brain says, okay, it's okay. So if you want a person to be comfortable with you, all right, go with your hands. Plus, you're going to help yourself as well. Because when you do that... Yeah? You're with me?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, can you feel the difference already in here and here?
Yes, I can.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, but not just there. Can you now feel
Yes.
how much better that is there?
Yeah.
Okay, now
I
one
feel
more thing.
more secure,
Right?
actually,
Now, you're a woman. All right? You've got breasts. Now, every single woman that comes in, right, wears a bra, obviously, but the purpose of the bra is designed to support the breast tissue, the weight of the breast tissue, because that's going to drag you forward. But every woman wears it just because it's, to cover modesty, to cover their breast, okay? So, may I just touch this? Yeah. So if I do that, okay, can you see how much play there is?
Yes.
Okay, so that is not giving you what you need, all right? So, if I do that, can you feel that?
Yes.
Even with you being
Yes.
correct, right?
Yeah.
Take that hand and cup your breast and lift your breast tissue
Right,
up.
okay.
Okay, now do that. What do you feel?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
take your hand away.
Yes.
Okay. So, what do we do with the bra? Well, are you wearing? You are wearing a bra.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you see, you like everyone, have got no sort of you have no tightness on there at all, right? So, if I may, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. There is 100% of women that come in, none of them, right, have got a bra that they actually use properly, which is amazing. Right, but just notice...
We'll go home and check now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now, do what we said.
Yeah.
Okay, feel that.
Yeah. No.
Right, compared to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so shall I do the other one?
Yes, please.
Yeah?
Thank you. Where's my boots? Oh my goodness. And actually, the reason why I have it, because the reason I have it loose, I think, is because I don't like it digging, but it's not digging in at all.
No. Okay, so here we go. Now, let me give you one more tip. So, there is something called C-clips. And this you can buy from Amazon. Okay, and £5 for a pack of about 10 or so. Okay. And the beauty of these is that they just improve everything even more.
Okay.
So, choose one.
Oh, so is it going on the bra?
Yeah, choose one.
So let's go with that one.
That one? Okay, so, now. Yeah, absolutely. So what they do is they do this.
Got it. Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Be useful to maybe invest in some of those.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's where, okay, can you feel now how much better that is?
Yeah, that
now,
is. And
face that way
it's-
for me. Can you see how
I
much
can
straighter
see
you are?
already. Yeah.
All right. Now, God gave us these 3 curves for a purpose,
Yes.
all right? Because those 3 curves, what they do is they make the spine 7 times stronger.
Right.
Because they give it that spring.
Right.
Compared to being dead straight. Now, the problem is, of course, is that when we sit, what do? We straighten that curve and we put incredible stress. And then, of course, we sit in all kinds of weird and wonderful positions, don't we? And if we do that, what are we doing to it?
Twisting it as well.
We're doing even worse, okay? Now, the problem is these days is that most of us, right, have office jobs. So how many hours do we do that for?
Yeah, it's going to be at least 6
or 7 hours. Okay, so 6 or 7 hours is not going to do anybody any favours. Now, obviously, that's not going to change because that's life, isn't it?
Right.
So what I'm going to encourage, and what I encourage all my patients to do, is to buy these from Amazon, okay? And there it's a back support, back mesh support, and it just fits there. But can you see what it's also encouraging you to do? Because if you push your back into it, what's it also encouraging?
It's encouraging.
It's encouraging you to come back with your neck, okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's how you want to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, come over here to the computer a minute. So you use a monitor, not laptop, yeah?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So now the information that they teach teach people, office people, about where their eyes should be is incorrect.
Right.
Your eyes should not be at the top of the screen.
Right.
Should not be in the center of the
Right.
screen. Your eyes should actually be in the lower third of the screen.
Right.
The lower third of the screen. Why? Because when it's at the top or at the center, you're going to put your head down to look at the screen a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look up at the screen, can you feel the difference?
Yeah.
So all of you who are sitting in front of a computer, raise your monitor up and get your eyes here. Because can you feel how much better that feels?
Yeah.
It's sort of going to encourage you to sit back into your chair,
of course.
which should have this back support in it. The important things that everybody must realize, right, is that osteoarthritis is not genetic. We don't inherit it from our parents.
Okay.
Okay, osteoarthritis, we create. Okay, we create. So, we create this. Okay?
Yeah.
And we can't blame our parents. Okay? The reason that we create that is because the body is beautiful, right? And it will deal with the stress that we put on it. Right. Okay? But what happens if that stress is there for year after year after year after year? Well, the body then has to deal with it. So what it does is it remodels. It remodels. Okay? And the way it remodels is it tries to help you by locking it into place. So this extra bone growth, right, is there to help you because it knows that if it moves, it's going to hurt. You with me? Yeah. All right, so osteoarthritis is not genetic. You are creating it. Yeah. But that is beautiful, isn't it?
That's so interesting.
Because what does it mean?
Well, it means that we can uncreate it.
Perfect. Absolutely. So what it means is that you can do something about it. And the sooner you do something about it, the better, because then your body has more chance to stop the progress, because that's a one-way street.
Yeah.
If you let it. But you can stop it, and as a chiropractor, I can help you to go backwards a little bit. I can't take you back to here, right, but I can certainly improve it. Make sense? Okay, so the only accident that you've had was the road traffic accident, and that was how long ago?
Oh, that
Remind
was
me.
years ago. So we're talking, I was just driving, so about 25, 26, so about 20, it's got to be about 22 years ago.
22 years ago.
Thereabouts.
Okay, that's fine. So you've seen a chiropractor before?
Yes.
And that was for...
That was literally because one day I just was in the shower and suddenly... I don't know what happened, but something happened, and I was almost doubled over with the
pain.
Yeah. Then it went away, and I went away to Scotland, but it was a road trip, so it meant I sat in a car for
hours.
500
hours.
miles,
literally.
Yeah. And then it came back again, and at that point I can't. I've got to just get this sorted, and that seemed to work. I saw her a couple of times, and it went. Just went.
Fantastic.
And it's not come back.
Yeah. Oh, good. So you know chiropractic works.
I do, and I knew it worked for me better than physio.
Yeah,
because
perfect.
I knew it was more related to my body, not psychological.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I totally know why you've got all the issues you have. All right, so, okay.
There we go.
So, go and stand over there for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
So, you're going to find this really, really useful. Okay.
My producer's going to find this really hilarious.
Oh, she is, absolutely. But she's got the same problem. Okay. So, come over here for me.
Oh, good.
Okay, now we're not...
Let's not show this.
No, standing on there for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, can you just zoom in down here? Okay, that's fine. So, all right, that's fine. It's in pounds, so nobody will know what it means anyway. It's an American piece of software, so they use pounds still. Okay, 1 foot and
That's really interesting.
It is, isn't it?
Oh, this is really interesting. I want to see this.
Okay, no, look straight ahead. Don't look down. Okay, and off you come. Okay, between 2 to 6 pounds is average. Okay, I've had £30 difference.
Really?
Where one person is putting £30 more weight on here. That was the highest. £30 weight on here to here. Normally we get about 10 to 20, but 30 was the highest I've had. Now why is that? Because there was the body, as I said, compensates. So it's compensating for what was going on in here. Okay?
Yeah.
So the good news for you is that your body is not compensating too badly. All right? Is it compensating? Absolutely. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Great. Is it all making sense?
Yes, and it feels better as well.
Turn around and face me. So, teach me what I've taught you.
Okay, right. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, slight bend of the knees.
Yeah.
And then thumbs facing
thumbs pointing forward.
outwards. So it's, and
shoulders nice and relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay, chin level.
Yeah,
That's it. Sort the bra out.
That naturally happens when your knees are bent and your arms are out. It almost falls into place then.
And sort the bra out as a woman. Yeah, perfect. And also use the back support.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Now, so that is the stress coming down into your body.
Yeah.
Now, the other stress is the stress from the ground, and your feet are really, really important.
Right.
Now, you are very, very flat-footed.
Yes, I know.
All right, and you've got sort of severe bunions there.
Yes.
Okay, now there is a reason for that, okay? The reason is not tight shoes. The reason is biomechanics.
Right.
Okay, so if we have a look over there, that's normal foot.
Yeah.
Okay, that is called a pronator or flat foot.
Right, yes.
You are flat-footed.
Yes, no, I know.
Now, that's a problem. Now, why is it a problem? Because every bone in your body is controlled by your feet.
Right.
So this is a normal foot, and this is a flat foot.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, come here for me and just push up to the ceiling. So lock your elbows out and push up to the ceiling and try really hard.
Yeah.
And there's nothing.
Yeah.
No power.
No.
Okay, sit down for me.
Yeah.
So you go from Wonder Wimp to push up, Wonder Woman.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Now why is that?
Because I've taken it off my feet.
Exactly that.
And so this bit's fine, but these
Exactly that.
not.
Stand up for me. So when we stand, our foot needs to be here. When it's there, those three beautiful arches are our shock absorbers.
Right.
They are our shock absorbers. Because when the foot works, the way the foot works is like this. Everybody puts their heel down, our foot goes out, which is why the outside of our shoes wear out.
Yeah.
We then knock our foot down, so as we would put our weight forward, our foot goes down, okay, and then it collapses.
Yes.
And then we push through the big toe and the next toe, and that is the normal gait. Now, if I have my arch support, can you see what's going to happen?
Yeah.
My knee's going to go straight through.
Yeah.
But you and me, 90% of the population, do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, stand normally. Feel that?
Oh, out, yeah.
Feel that?
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 Yeah.
Feel that? That?
Yeah.
Okay? So that's you every single day.
Yeah.
So you are creating this stress in your body standing. But of course, when you're walking, what you are doing is you're doing this. Yeah?
So now you're creating that stress. And surprise, surprise, L4-5 is the most damaged vertebra in the human spine from sitting and from flat feet. So what do we do about it? Well, when we have eye problems with our lens, we wear glasses, right? Simple correction. So we need to stabilize your arch.
Okay.
Stand on there for me.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Now, a lot of people have cosmetic operations to sort the bunion out, but it doesn't fix the underlying problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the bunion normally comes back.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold here for me and push up hard as you can.
Oh, that's better, isn't it? That's so much better. Yeah. 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 I get it.
Come off.
Oh, gosh.
This is important.
Yeah.
When you take your glasses off, what happens?
Yeah.
You can't see?
Yeah. Same thing.
Push up for me. Try harder.
Yeah, and I can feel that. Oh, my God.
Okay? Now, there was Professor Rothbard. He has a toe condition found in children named after him.
Yeah.
He did an experiment. He stood a patient, got them to stand with their foot, x-rayed their neck. He then got them to move their foot and re-x-rayed their neck. The bones in the neck moved.
Right. Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Remember that children's song?
Yeah.
Ankle bone connects to the knee bone. Yeah? Every single bone in the joint in your body is affected by your feet. Your feet are critical.
Yeah.
What happens when you run?
Yeah, well, there's
It
also
hurts.
more power, into it.
4 to 5 times your weight now
it's
is
going
crashing
straight
through your
into
foot, into your ankle,
Yeah.
into your knee, into your hip, into your back.
I do have the support on my running shoes, and I actually do find them more comfortable because I got them specifically with support. So
Perfect.
That
It
makes a
possibly
difference.
will not be enough. If you bring in your running shoes, we can check you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, those you buy from Amazon.
Yeah, no, I've
Okay.
got one of those in my other pair of boots.
Okay, now this model here is an American company called Superfeed.
Yeah.
I've been using it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've tried 10 different other
Really?
companies, and this is the only company that work.
Fine. I shall
Okay,
go
so
for
these are the ones to go.
Yeah,
Now,
I will
all you
get
do with
this.
these is the green ones are for trainers and boots, but things like this,
Yeah.
you'd put the brown ones in.
Okay.
And for women, all my female patients wear the men's, because the female version of these are thinner and they're black, but that's not important. What's important is they're thinner and they're not as strong.
Right.
Okay,
Fine.
so the men's ones are the ones to buy, and I'll give you. I've got a QR code that you can scan, which has got the whole list of things on there. Okay,
Yay.
all making sense so far.
Yes.
Great. So have you learned something?
I've learned so much.
Fantastic. So, but most importantly, what you've learned. Is,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely. But you learn things that you can do to help yourself, and that's important.
Brilliant.
So the 3 top tips. Well, firstly, don't sit for more than sort of 40 minutes. Okay, get up because 40 minutes you're going to start sort of creating more stress in your body than you should be doing. The other most important thing is walk. Okay, get out and walk. Move your body. Find something that you enjoy doing. Right, go out and exercise. Do some movement. Walk if nothing else. Right, but before you do that, please, make a point of seeing a chiropractor, seeing somebody that can check your body to make sure that the nerves and muscles are working. And thirdly, most importantly, is you've got to eat well. You've got to consider what it is that you're eating, because remember, you're feeding your body, you're feeding your muscles, and you are feeding your bones.
I came out of that actually feeling better in that. I've been to a chiropractor before, and I have been, and they've clicked me about a bit, and it works. Not for everybody, because I know some people really, really don't like it.
No, and I can see why. But it works.
And one thing we will actually add is it's very important if you consent to treatment, but you withdraw your consent halfway through, your practitioner needs to listen to that.
So if you've got an acute problem, chiropractor can be amazing just to sort out something which is, it's not like your normal back, lower back pain or whatever. It's something sudden and really painful. They can be good for that.
So, after today, I'm exhausted just watching it.
I know. We've done a lot of things.
We have done a lot of things. Enjoy whatever it is you're trying out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and tune in to Mental Health Matters office hours on Thursday at 8 a.m. PT and Mental Health Matters after hours at 8 p.m. PT on Thursdays. I'm Dr. Audrey Tang, a chartered psychologist, and on my show, Mental Health Matters, we take a deep dive into all things mental health and well-being with the experts. So join us at 8 a.m. PST on Thursdays on the Fresh Takes channel, because Mental Health Matters on E360 TV.